Hey guys, old nerd Ron here from Kinda Nerdy, and we're going into Uncanny X-Men number 188 from 1984. When we left off, Forge, Forge's building was under attack by the Dire Wraiths, and the X-Men showed up to help fight them off. And at that, but just when it seemed like they won, the a, a shadow gate opened and these living shadows came out and started to attack the X-Men and Forge, and we left off with them captured. So here we are in issue number 188. Uh, it's dated for December of '84. It more than likely came out in September or October of '84 because they were always dated 2 months ahead of time. So this is the Mario Brothers ad. We saw that the last time. So here we go. Legacy of the Lost. How quickly sometimes the tables can be turned. And we have everybody just wrapped up in shadows and the look of horror on Rogue's face and Colossus and Storm. And Forge more looks like determined than he does uh, scared. And says, a moment ago, the X-Men believed that the battle won. Their foes at cadre of alien dire wraiths utterly destroyed. Now it is they who stand in deadly peril, as without warning, loathsome shadow beings erupt through the rift in the very fabric of space-time itself, or space itself, to overwhelm our heroes and begin to drag them inexorably toward the dimension gateway leading to their own realm, their own sorceress realm. And written by Chris Claremont, and artists are John Romita Jr. and Dan Green. And like I said, this is December 1984. And it says, our weapons or fists have no effect on these creatures. They do not even seem to possess physical substance. Storm, use that blaster on my artificial leg if you can. Get me free. I might be able to find a way to help us all. The shadow beings, they seem to sense my intent. They're trying to stop me. Careful, woman. You almost hit me. If I do, when I do, rest assured, Forge, it shall not be by accident. She means that. Pal, when you make yourself an enemy, you don't fool around. Considering what I did to her, though, it's probably no less than what I deserve. Worry about that later. Storm's giving you a chance. Don't blow it. Uh, I'll give the same emanations off. I get the same emanations off the shadow beings as I did off the wraiths. They they must be mystical in nature. They merge their substance with our flesh, turning us into creatures like themselves. They didn't affect me as much as the others because of my metal prosthesis. Uh, don't know how long I have before the process becomes irreversible. I may already be too late. Nays! Answer me, old man. This is no time for your idiot games. Where the devil are you, shaman? I need you, Nays. However, upstairs at the very apex of Forge's penthouse complex, in the center of the sacred ring, hear me, O Great One. I come in humble supplication. Aid my people in the hour of our greatest peril. In exchange, we offer this world and all on it to do with as you will. Kind of sounds a little desperate there, don't you? What? Fire exploding outward from the circle. The patterns being formed. I've never seen their like. No! My wards, they aren't protecting me. But this is impossible. It cannot be. Mercy, Great One, I beg you, have mercy. Foolish mortal. You ask for what I do not give, and offer that which I already possess. Your form is well known to me, Nays, shaman of the Cheyenne. We have met and fought before. Yet our soul, I see, is changed. It is alien, no matter. Now both are mine. Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, one of the world's busiest, completely paralyzed uh, this midsummer night by the freak blizzard, the likes of which no one has ever seen. And no wonder its cause is the casket of ancient winters, courtesy of the recent events in Thor. So I like how even back then there was a crossover or a worldwide effect where this is happening in another issue, but at the same time it's happening in the X-Men. Now I was under the assumption that it had something to do with the Dire Wraiths, that they were causing the the storm, but it turns out it has to do with the casket of ancient winters. Um, and I don't know much about that. Only what I've seen of it was in the animated series Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. But other than that, I do not have any recollection. I might have to find those issues, and maybe we can go over those at the same time. That might be interesting. Okay, so there is a first-class cabin in a stranded TWA 747, and Nightcrawler teleports in and grabs the stewardess uh, before they were called flight attendants. Miss Sefton, that demon grabbed her and they disappeared. At that moment, back then the 747 was had a they had a lounge inside the plane. It was basically a bar. Uh, it was basically a yacht in the sky. And I never flew on. I've never been on a 747. Been on a L1011, which is just as big, but never got to go to the bar. But I just found that interesting. They had an upstairs bar in these planes. Uh, at that very moment, 100 feet overhead, Nightcrawler, are you crazy? How dare you pull a stunt like that? How am I going to explain it? Put me back at once. Can't do that, Lib Shin. Uh, you know I wouldn't have done it if there'd been any other way. My attempt at a German accent there. Uh, you sound so grim, Kurt. What's the matter? You're a witch, Amanda. The X-Men have desperate need of your unique talents. I'll explain en route. So now, last issue, we didn't even know that Nightcrawler was there. Now all of a sudden, he just happened to be there in the Blackbird. How interesting! We could, couldn't have, you would think that Rogue and Colossus would have said, "Hey, Nightcrawler's waiting for us in the plane" or something like that. And imagine Oreo cookies everywhere. How many Oreo cookies can you find? Right. After programming the X-Men's specially modified SR-71 Blackbird aircraft to hover safely above Eagle Plaza, how is it going to do that with the casket of ancient winters pouring down winter weather all over the world? The German-born mutant teleports his lady love into Forge's penthouse. The sight that greets them isn't pretty. Zoom, zoom to fall. Save them, Amanda, if you can. I'll do my best, hon. And she starts casting her magics. I always liked the way Marvel did their spell casting. They would do the like "I love you" symbol and stuff, but the way that they have them like casting a fist and holding their hands out to cast the spells, and her clothes change. She's no longer wearing her flight attendant, but apparently her witch's clothes. Um, so Amanda Sefton and Nightcrawler grew up together. She was her mother adopted Kurt and raised him as her own in the circus, and she was a sorceress, and she taught her daughter the magic as well. So a little backstory there. Her spells stab into the core of the shadow mass, partially disrupting it and allowing some of the X-Men to struggle free. Not even the Brood were so foul and evil. I am weak, but Ororo and Rogue look far worse. I must see them. I must see to them. Then we have a ad for Saturday mornings on CBS. Uh, I don't remember Richard Pryor having anything to do with CBS Saturday mornings. His comedy wasn't exactly aimed at children, but we have Jim Henson's Muppet Babies, um, the Get Along Gang, uh, Saturday Supercade, Space Ace, Cubert, Kangaroo, and Donkey Kong. And then we had Dungeons and Dragons, and it's Pryor's Palace. I don't remember, and Pole Position. I don't remember that. The only shows that I ever watched on CBS at that time were I did watch the Cubert sometimes and the Donkey Kong, but it wasn't as good as Dungeons and Dragons. That was my show. I think most of the time we watched ABC, which had the Looney Tunes, because those never got old for us. Anyways, 1984 Marvel Prediction Limited, which is that? I think that's. I don't know. Which one's a Marvel Prediction? To see, but I don't see the copyright. It's limited Dungeons and Dragons. See, I didn't know Dungeons and Dragons uh, was copyrighted by Marvel and Entertainment Corps, 1984 CBS All Rights Reserved. Nice. Hey, Peter, get away before it's too late. And Rogue turns into a dire wraith, and Colossus is all, by the White Wolf. Rogue absorbs the abilities of the personality of all living things she touches. Her contact with these horrors is transforming her into a wraith. Hold me tight, my dear friend. I need you so. Need you so. Hold me close. The better I may consume your body and soul. Should I do nothing then and die? Nothing then and die. That is madness. Boise moi. That barbed tongue can penetrate my armored flesh. If Rogue stabs it into my brain, she will steal my thoughts, my memories, my features, my very life. But how can I save myself without maiming or killing her? Though possessed she is my comrade, she is not responsible for her actions. Just then, what a mess. Score one for you, Professor. Looks like the big boys do need my help. And we see a form appear on a disc, and that's Ileana Rasputin, or Magic, Colossus's little sister. Was? Who? Ileana Rasputin? Trouble is, my magics aren't too terribly effective on this plane of existence. The only real weapon I've got is my soul sword. On cue, the eldritch blade appears like its young mistress, seemingly from nowhere. It is the ultimate expression of Ileana's power. As a sorceress, few spells or mystic creatures can stand against it. Spicy Bomb, my sister. Anytime, big brother. No hiding it now. He knows what I am. I wonder how he feels. I love him, so I couldn't bear it if he turned away from me. So, Ileana came to live with the X-Men when she was 7 years old, and she was abducted by a demon called Belasco. And she spent only a few hours in, in our time in limbo, his realm. But when she came out, she was 14 years old. So 7 years went by of her life, and she learned to be the sorcerer supreme of limbo. But her brother had no idea. He just thought she had aged. He had no idea that she had these magic powers, and she hid them from him. But now she's afraid that he's not going to accept her because her powers are based on demonic energies. This my gleaming armor appear again. It pops up whenever I summon the sword, and there's more of it each time. What's happening when the suit's complete? Rogue, she's human once more, but she's so pale. Is she even breathing? Do not touch her, Peter. Put gloves on first, or the slightest touch will transfer her powers to her. I forgot, Aurora. I will be careful. Reinforcements, Aurora? No problem. Professor Xavier must have sent. Reinforcements, Aurora? Professor Xavier must have sent her, Amanda. Can you seal the shadow gates? No problem. And roar. Well, so much for that idea. I like it's the roar is a part of the picture, and they're trying to. She tries to close the gate, and it does nothing. Uh, Bad guys just up the ante overall in a big way. My energy web isn't holding it back. Let me try. And Eliana jumps with her soul sword at the monsters coming through the web and bounces right back. Whammo! Um, get out of here, all of you, while you have the chance. I'll cover you. Uh, it's interesting. I don't know about you, but the looking at Amanda's hands, it looks so tiny. I don't know if that was a mistake, but it just looks like they look so tiny, and the coloring is kind of smeared. But that might just be because of the scan, the copy of the issue, the scan. Uh, Go, Kurt. I mean it. I can't last much longer. As hard as and fast as I cast my spells, some other force counters them. You mean another witch? The Wraiths are witches. We thought we had them all slain, but suppose we were wrong. The roof, Nightcrawler, teleport me up there now. But why, Amanda? I won't leave. You heard the lady, Fuzzy. Don't do it. I'm coming with you. If you insist, Herr Forge, but I warn you, the ride it isn't a pleasant ride. That's an understatement. I feel turned inside out. You get used to it. What are we looking for? Storm fought a wraith up here. She locked it out. Buggers are extraordinarily sensitive to cold. She figured it'd freeze to death. She should have made sure. Too weak for its spells to bash the door down, but still able to give your lady fits. Enjoy your triumph, mammal, while it lasts. And he fires the blaster at the wraith, and this when we have laid claim to your world, and we will not be denied. Forge, what are you going to do? Don't ask foolish questions, X-Men, and he kills it. It's interesting that the X-Men at this time, except for Wolverine, were against killing, uh, because and in the eighties that was a thing. You know, the heroes only killed as a necessity. You know, but if you also think about it, if you defeat the villain, they go to jail, they escape, they come out, and you have to fight them again. It's a vicious cycle. So why not just kill them? Especially if they're putting other people's lives in jeopardy. But this is a good. I like this image of Forge is firing the weapon. You see the glow of the weapon as it fires, it illuminates his face and his torso, and I just that's a really good coloring and a art job by Dan Green, John Romita Jr., and the colorists. The Shah. Uh, be a while before this place is livable. At least you're around to fix it, Mine Hatter. Um, Something bothering you, mister? Considering me, consider me squeamish. Killing does not come as natural to me as to others. Excuse me, please, I must see to my friends. Rest, hon. Let my magic ease your pain. Professor Xavier was monitoring your situation over the blackbird's calming. Oh, Ororo, is it true that what we've heard that you've lost your powers? Yes. I'm so sorry. I too. But what happened next? I'm a teleporter, kind of like Nightcrawler. That's my mutant power. But I'm also a sorceress. The prof hoped by my soul sword would make the difference. I'm glad it did. And it's interesting. She's like I said, she's 14 years old, and you can see John Romita Jr. made her eyes big and her face round like a child because she was still a child. And um, a sorceress. I knew you had changed in limbo, Ilyana Nikolovana. uh, when when you were Valesco's captive, but I never realized quite how much. I was more than the demon lord's captive, Peter. I became his apprentice. Whatever you are, you will forever remain my sister. And little snowflake, A braver, truer, lonelier, lovelier girl does not exist on this planet or any other. Good big brother. Nays! And Forge kicks the door open, and a shadow. Uh, that the shadow's almost inappropriate there. Um, I guess I should have guessed. What did you do, old man? Try to summon the Great Spirit himself? Why did I ever build this bloody sanctum? Uh, in the first place, didn't I learn my lesson in Nam? No more magic ever. How is he? Alive, barely. I've got to get him to a hospital. I wish him well. We shall, we shall be gone when you return. No, I won't let things end this way. Life is between us. And how, pray tell, O master of lies, will you stop me? Oh, Roro, please, do not follow Forge. Do not try to find us. Suggest to your federal associates that they do the same. Cheer up, warrior. Our story is far from ended. We shall meet again. And then you may well wish we had not. And we see him walk away, and he's distraught. And I like, there's only four colors: yellow, black, white, blue, and yet so much in this story, in this picture of Forge's um, his 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 despair, at the loss of Ororo, because his invention caused her to lose her powers, and that his friend, his basically his master, is dying. 73 degrees 12 west longitude by 28 degrees 17 north latitude, roughly the heart of the infamous Bermuda Triangle. Man in the water, off the port quarter. Man in the water. Where away, Paolo? A couple hundred yards, Lee. See him? Shark gun, Paolo. Fast. And you can see her looking through the binoculars, and you see the shark fins. Kablam! Kablam! Can Uncanny get to him? Not with the nets out. We're stuck here, stuck where we are. What's the point? What's the point, Skipper? Poor guy's a goner. And she's shooting the sharks. He's moving. He's still alive. Cover me, Paolo. Aletius Forrester, are you crazy? No time to unship the Zodiac. I'll have to swim for him. Whoever he is, he's got a passel of saints sitting on his shoulders. A great white that size should have bent him in half. No boat, no wreckage, no Coast Guard alerts. How'd this guy get out here anyway? Paolo's shooting the shark. And I like the shark is looking up from the water with a confused look, like, is this lady crazy? She's swimming out here with the sharks? Paolo's shooting the shark. And she kicks the shark in the mouth and the nose. Beat it, Buster. Try something else for lunch. You dumb broad, pulling a stupid stunt like that. Suppose you'd missed. That fish had taken off your blame leg. Don't yell, Paolo, and don't call me a broad. Get me the medical kit. Hey, this suit's crazy. Suit's made of crazy suit's made of chainmail. Saved your life, mister. Then I am in your its debt, and I see yours as well, Captain Forrester. Lee, you know this fella? Magneto. Dun dun dun. So I was looking through this issue before I made the video, and I'm thinking, you know, how did Magneto end up here? And the last we saw Magneto was during the Secret Wars, where they had the big crossover where all the superheroes and villains had to fight to prove which side was more powerful, and he was a big part of that, and that's the last we've seen of him, and that was just a few months earlier in the year. So did the Beyonder just like dump him in a drink or what? It kind of makes you wonder. Um, all right, and then we have an advertisement for the NBC Saturday morning. We got the Peacock and Kid Video. I never watched that. I did watch Mr. T because I loved Mr. T. I loved him on the 18, but I also just love Mr. T as a person. He was the, to me, he was the ultimate role model. He played the gruff grump, but he was against drugs. He was against clean living. He never swore. He never was inappropriate. That's why I love Mr. T. The Snorks, they were a spinoff of the Smurfs. Didn't really care for them. The Pink Panther and Sons. I didn't like it as much as I did the actual Pink Panther. Never watched Going Bananas. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Yes. Firestar and Iceman. And then the Smurfs. We had to watch that because my sisters liked it. And Alvin and the Chipmunks. We liked them sometimes too. And they always had the one to grow on between shows. So that was the NBC Saturday mornings in 1984. And then 73 degrees 35 west longitude by 41 degrees 20 north latitude, or roughly 1,300 miles due north of the trawler Arcadia. Join me for a swim, Kurt? I'll pass Donkey, Ororo. Water and fur don't mix well. Don't mix. Pity. Turning chill. Here's your towel. So I never. You can't really see it in the art, but Nightcrawler's supposed to be the blue. His skin isn't really blue. It's fur. It's blue fur, but you can't really see that in 1984's technology, art. You know, and so uh, you never. I always wondered why they call him fuzzy and furry, but apparently it is fur, but you can't really see because when you see close-ups of like this far right shot, uh, he looks like it's just his skin. Uh, here's your towel. Now, who want? I like a nice warm towel, but I prefer it not to smell like sulfur when somebody hands it to me. um, bless you. I am still not used to being feeling cold. The professor says your powers are completely gone, as if they had never been. That the genetic potential exists. My children or theirs may someday command the weather as I did, but not I. And I like how she's just like smiling. I don't know why she'd be smiling about that. This is not the end of the world, my darling elf, or even of mine. Mine. I am a grown woman. I have survived. I will survive. I will survive. Uh, Aurora, I asked the professor to call a special meeting of the X-Men. So, I am no longer a mutant. There is no longer a place for me here. Perhaps not for any of us. Do it as a favor to me then. I need you by my side last time more last time more than ever. They still at it, Rachel? Uh-huh. Keep your voice down, Ileana. They'll hear. The X-Men and the Prof have been in the study for hours. They called Wolverine in Japan, but he refused to come home. Something's up. Kitty's over there too, but he won't tell what, and he insisted he handle it himself. That's going on in the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine miniseries. Uh, Sounds real grim. I hope Kitty's okay. Uh, what does all this mean? They're arguing, Roberto, but so it cannot be good. So on the stairs here, at the top of the stairs, that's Roberto da Costa, Sunspot of the New Mutants at the time, Ileana Rasputin, Magic, and Rachel, the girl that they found, that they saved from Selene, the vampire mutant. Uh, Ours is a private discussion, children. Professor Xavier, the hour is long past. Your bedtime. Please return to your rooms. I'll answer any questions in the morning. Good night. It's kind of hard to be sneaky when you have a telepath that knows your presence when you're outside, even outside the door. You coming, Rachel? When he uses that tone of voice, he means business. I know. Go ahead, Eliana. I'll be okay. I'm a telepath, Professor, just like you. I couldn't shield three sets of thoughts from your side scans, but hiding myself along alone is another matter entirely. I know you'll be angry with me. I don't care. I have to know. It wasn't a supervillain that maimed Storm Air Professor, but the United States government. It was a tragic accident, Nightcrawler, nothing more. When Senator Robert Kelly's Mutant Affairs Project Control Act was introduced, no one took it seriously, yet today it is given a better than even chance of being enacted into law. We live in the last quarter of the 20th century, in an age where men have walked on the moon and some of us journeyed to the stars. We have split the atom. The secret of the space and time are ours for the asking. Yet when you found me not so many years ago, I was being hunted by a mob who wanted to drive a stake through my heart because they believed I was a demon. I hoped joining the X-Men would make a difference, that things would be better for mutant kind instead of they've gotten worse. We are still hated, still hounded by the very people we have sworn to protect. So I find myself asking, why? What's the point? Would you rather follow Magneto's way of conquering the world or and enslaving humanity? Is it, in truth, I'd rather not be bothered at all. If the world cares nothing for mutants, fine, the feeling's mutual. What of the X-Men? What of us? Forgive me, but who needs us? What purpose do we serve? The school, yes, that fulfills the desperate need. Young mutants must be taught to use their powers. But as for the rest of us, let the Avengers or the Fantastic Four handle that burden. They're popular, they're accepted. Leave us then to live in peace. Do you really think running away is the answer? At least I'll be living for myself and the woman I love instead of some amorphous dream. Does that sound selfish? Well, I feel I have earned the right. We all have. Look at us, Professor. Of the X-Men, you gathered Banshee and Storm maimed, Thunderbird killed, Jean Grey killed. Where will it end? And then we have a ad for the Secret Wars toys with the, like I said, with the shields that have the when you put the you move them, you moved them around and the picture changed. And what was interesting that they all had shields. There weren't that many characters because there's only uh, let's see, uh, Marvel, Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wolverine, Kang, Doctor Doom, Doctor Octopus, and Magneto, and were the only characters that they had when they made these. So I don't know why they didn't make any more because there was a lot more characters in the Secret Wars, but that's the only ones they released for some reason. Killed Jean Grey. Jean Grey dead? No, no. This is I like. This is one of John Romita Jr.'s tropes is to put these loud words as part of the picture, and her script she's doing a psionic blast because she's found out that Jean Grey is dead. You're lying, Nightcrawler, lying. Take back what you said. Tell me it isn't true. Ah, Rachel projecting cybolts as formidable as my own. Everybody's on the ground except for Professor X. He's just kind of stooped over. Oh, and of course, Nightcrawler is up in the air, but she isn't this powerful normally. But rage and I sense grief are giving her a berserker's strength. Rachel, stop this! Get a hold of yourself, child. You're killing him. Please let it be a lie. It has to be. I spoke to my dad. I heard my mom's voice. She's alive. Whew, Nightcrawler hits the floor. Then we have the ads for the things that we saw in the last issue. Kurt, alive, mein Freund. I just want to lie here a while and get used to it. Rachel, that's impossible, Ororo. Jean Grey can't be dead. Why not, child? She's my mom. Everybody's all the shocked look on their faces. And I'm so sorry, Nightcrawler. I never intentionally hurt you. You know that, don't you? I mean, you're my favorite fuzzy elf, who who told me bedtime stories when I was a kid and took me to the circus. Oh, really? Scout's honor. Only none of that has happened yet. I guess now I'll never, it never will. You can't give up. The X-Men are important not because you're superheroes, but because you're mutant superheroes. You people think you got it rough. Give me a break. You got no idea. Take a look at the world I come from, the future that may yet lie in wait for us all if we don't do anything. While there's still hope, there's still time and hope. She opens her mind to them, revealing a lovely summer morning as Kurt and his wife Amanda escort a 14-year-old Ileana Rasputin to the school bus stop. So that's an alternate reality because Ileana was already 14, is 14 now, but in the future she's 14, so she didn't go to limbo. They reach, they never reach it. And why are they taking her to the school bus stop if Xavier's is a school? I never understood that. um, and seconds later, an artillery barrage levels the mansion itself. Rachel, downstairs. Get downstairs, Rachel. You'll be safe in the danger room. Not without you, Professor. I cannot. I must try to stop this slaughter. We mean you no harm. We surrender. In mercy's name, cease fire. The soldiers found me in the ruins, but by his side, the only survivor. They used drugs to neutralize my psi talent. The torture came later in prison. Eventually, I was sent to the South Bronx containment facility, a concentration camp. In my past, the anti-mutant persecution began with the assassination by mutants of Senator Robert Kelly. In exchange, the adult Cape Pride psyche I exchanged the adult Cape Pride psyche with that of her younger self. She saved Kelly, but that, you know that you guys helped her. It, and the rest of us in the future weren't so lucky. When Kate's mind returned to her body, only I was left to welcome her. An abbreviated recap of the events of X-Men number 141 and 142. And then we have a bullpen bulletin and it talks about the death of Saul Brodsky, who was the vice president of operations and special projects for Marvel. He died in 1984. And then this has a checklist of the books that came out that month. The future wherein Katya and I were married, does that mean where there is hope for us still? Is that what I want? With respect, Rachel, you've proved my case. What do I owe a world that is eager to slaughter me and everyone I love simply because we exist? She didn't mention me. I guess I wasn't part of the team. Did I survive, or was I dumped into some unmarked back alley grave? All that horror, and it was Mystique's fault. My foster mom was the mutant who murdered Kelly. And Storm has no thoughts, apparently. All my hopes, all my dreams. Thank heaven, Rachel's future. I did not live to see them turn to ashes. Finally, there was just me. I figured what the heck, nothing to lose. Maybe I could just time slip myself back a decade or two, only physically instead of psychically, like I did Kate, and try to prevent the future from coming to pass. So she's like, I'll just send myself back in time. If she could have done that to begin with, why didn't she do it to stop stuff? I got when I wanted I got when I wanted to go, but not quite where. Because this isn't the past I remember. My Ileana should be a kid, not a teenager. My Storm never cut her hair or lost her powers. My mom, a lot there is different, but a lot is the same, and some of it worse. There were those among us who wanted only vengeance. They wanted the scales balanced in fire and blood and life for life. But the X-Men stood for something better. They never lost hope, never, no matter what, because the team Professor Xavier's dream of a world where normal and mutant could live in peace and fellowship, where there wouldn't be any distinction between them. We'd all just be human, never died. That's kind of a downer, huh? But I like, Marvel dealt with a lot of stuff like that in the 80s. This is basically dealing with dealt with intolerance. Um, if you turn away from that dream, Kurt, you'll do more damage than you know. We may be doomed. Ours may be a lost cause, but sometimes the way we live and die is more important than the simple fact of it. Give up now, and all those sacrifices in my world, as much as yours, will have been for nothing. What is that classic saying that you're fond of quoting, Kurt? With great powers comes great responsibility. Nightcrawler hanging out with Peter Parker, apparently. Want it or not, like it or not. Very well, Professor, for the dream. Thank you, my son, with all my heart. Give me some cases of blues. So he said, how much? Don't bull me, chum. Your ice is fresher than those fish. Junior, call the office. Hi, Mom. So we just have some street chatter here. And that's just epilogue on the left here. And it says, so, what, we catching a game after or what? We got to swing by my place on a way and pick up my boy Jamie or Jaime. It's Jaime. Uh, I promised Duke he got A's on his report card. Watch it, you goons. The crates, cute, real cute. Don't get in an uproar, boss. You'll give yourself a coronary. I'll clean this up. Wait, what's that? What's that? Something weird about that fish. Don't look so special. Why I, holy Mary, Jaime Rodriguez, you just hit the jackpot. Hearken, O man, I am power. Don me, obey, and the world is yours. Next, two girls out to have fun. So that's the end of that issue. So I'm going to give you an option. I will go into issues 189 and 190. Let me make sure here. Yeah, 189 and 190 next. Uh, but I want to know what you all want to hear. Would like after that. So I'm going to give you the option. We can do the Demon Bear saga from the New Mutants, which is a 3-issue crossover, not crossover, but a series where Danny Moonstar Mirage has to fight a spirit bear. It happened about simultaneously as this story. We can do the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine miniseries, or let's see what. There's another option I was going to give you all. The Kitty Pryde and Wolverine. Um, Maybe that's it. Yeah. So we'll just say we'll do either Kitty Pryde and Wolverine or the New Mutants. Demon Bear saga. So your choice. Leave your comments in below. Like, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate your time. This is Ron for Kind of Nerdy. Hey guys, it's Red Coyote. Just want to. I'm posting this as a afterthought to my what I was suggesting for me to read next. What you all wanted to read. So the options I offered you were let me go here, the X-Men chronologies. This is my comic book collection I have on my computer. So I did say I gave you the option of the Demon Bear saga, which is not here. So yeah, the Demon Bear saga, Wolverine, Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, and also Magic. this this story that crosses where Ilyana Rasputin becomes the a the sorcerer supreme of Limbo. Um, and another option I wanted to give you, I could also start the Exiles, which is the X-Men from alternate realities sliding through time. If you're interested in that, let me know. Or if there's something else, I'll give you an idea of what I got here. Um, I could also do, let's see here. That should be right here. Um, the Wolverine miniseries, the original Wolverine miniseries uh, from 1981, I believe. Let's see. 1982. I was close. We can do that. Um, I could do an introduction to the New Mutants if you like. Um, give you guys a little bit of a peek of what I do have here. Some of these I am not really that familiar with. It's just stuff that I happen to have. Um, I do have these are some of the Marvel titles I have of Alpha Flight, uh, the at least the first two series, I believe. The original Black Panther, Black Goliath, um, Godzilla, the Marvel version of Godzilla. Uh, if you're interested in that, Power Pack, um, the New Warriors, the original run of the New Warriors, She-Hulk, which is um, okay. Well, never mind, because there's only one issue of that, so we won't even bother with that. um, let's see here, Mighty Thor. These are from 2012, so that won't even have that crossover. I did have some Avengers books here. Chronological X-Men Avengers. Let me see if it has the. I don't know if it has um, the casket of Eternal Winter. This is from what year is this? It doesn't have a year down here. Year 79. So we're a few years off here. So let's go back here and try 8. See what this is. And this is, I might not even have it because I might not be that for 1982. So I'm still 2 years off. Let's try, let's see what this is. 1983, we're getting closer. Let's see, Thor number 330. Repent or die ungodly. Oh, that's the Crusader. 1983 again. Let's see what this is. (1983). And so August, September, October, November, December, January, February. So I don't think we're going to have it. But it does, I believe, have the introduction of Beta Ray Bill. Yes. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. So we have the origin of Beta Ray Bill. So if you want that. So there, I have a lot on here, as you can see. If you don't see anything, I also have some DC stuff, older and newer. I'll kind of scroll here so you guys can look at it. And then we have out of the crossovers, where the amalgams, where Marvel and DC put two of their heroes together. And then we had the Batman versus the Hulk, Incredible Hulk. I had this one when I was a kid. I bought it used. I bought it in a shop. It was a giant size comic book. It's been a long time since I read it. So, tell me what you want. If you don't see anything, Mad Magazine. Mad Magazine is always good for a laugh. um, it may be not politically correct, but That's all right, I guess. So let me know in the comments below what you want to see.